Okay, I'm back again. I don't know. So I'm going to talk about Black feminist standpoint theory, and I'm really tired because I've been teaching since early in the morning in different time zones. So I'll try to seem really awake as a form of branding, but it is about Black feminist standpoint theory, and I've been awake since very early in the morning, working, working. Okay, so that's all the branding that I can offer. Um, so, Black feminist standpoint theory is involved in my understanding, is involved in a set of debates uh, about positivism, versus postmodernism. And so I mentioned Sandra Harding, and Sandra Harding was someone who I cited in the very first class, and I discussed Sandra Harding's work regarding standpoint epistemology. Harding provides a useful definition of Eurocentrism, and Western or Eurocentric social and political thought contains three interrelated approaches for Harding to ascertaining truth that are routinely portrayed as competing epistemologies. So first, the first is reflected in positivist science and has long claimed that absolute truth exists, and the task of scholarship is to develop objective, unbiased tools of science to measure these truths. But many social theories have challenged the concepts and epistemology of this version of science as representing the interests of elite white men, and therefore as being less valid when applied to other groups. So the point is that knowledge is often seen to be objective and true, and the best and most pure knowledge when it is produced by the most elite people. And Harding rejects this idea by suggesting that one can produce knowledge from the standpoint of an oppressed person, a working class person, a person who does not own private property. So this second approach is rooted in Marxist positivism, and it essentially reverses positivist science's assumption concerning whose truth will prevail. So Black feminist standpoint theory is then produced from the vantage point of Black feminists. No homogeneous Black woman's standpoint exists, says Patricia Hill Collins. There is no essential or archetypal Black woman whose experiences stand as normal, normative, and thereby authentic. An essential understanding of a Black woman's standpoint suppresses differences among Black women in search of an elusive group identity. Instead, it may be more accurate to say that a Black woman's collective standpoint does exist, one characterized by the tensions that accrue to different responses to common challenges. Because it recognizes and aims to incorporate heterogeneity in crafting Black women's oppositional knowledge, this Black woman's standpoint eschews essentialism in favor of democracy. Since Black feminist thought arises within and also aims to articulate a Black woman's group standpoint regarding experiences associated with intersecting oppressions, stressing this standpoint's heterogeneous composition is significant. So Black feminist thought can be viewed as subjugated knowledge. And as I've mentioned in discussing Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak, subjugated knowledge or knowledge from below can often be inaudible and is sometimes never articulated or does not have a place in history. But this position of subjugated knowledge, the subaltern who can't speak and cannot be heard, is the site of politics. It is at this juncture when we can hear or we can ascertain the lament of the oppressed that we enter into what Alain Badiou would refer to as the event of politics. And for Alain Badiou, politics is not always the kind of program that we vote for. It involves the real politic of struggling, of suffering that we come upon and intervene in. So I will finish with this quote then by Toni Morrison. The function of freedom is to free someone else. Thank you.